Hi, this is Miss House, and this video will talk about some other things you're going to see when you're solving equations. One thing you're going to see sometimes is parentheses. And we're always going to clear these first before we do anything else. And we're going to use the distributive property to clear those. And what that means is if you have a number out front times an addition or a subtraction, you're going to distribute by multiplying this outer number times each number on the inside. So that's going to be A times B plus A times C. And in this case, with the subtraction, A times B minus A times C. So we're going to always do this first. Now, we also may have some like terms. We did see a few of those in the last lesson 12. But if you have any like terms, and these are the ones that are on the same side, you want to go ahead and combine those next. So combine after clearing the parentheses. And then the third thing that may happen is we may have variables on both sides. And when you have variables on both sides, you have to decide which side you want those variables to be on. And you're going to move the variables to one side, the numbers to the other. So you're going to move variables to one side. Doesn't matter which side. And then you're going to move numbers to the other. Whichever one you don't choose for the variables, you put the numbers on those. Okay, so let's work a few examples. Example 1, solve for the unknown in the equation 3 parentheses x minus 2 equals 18. We're going to have to multiply the 3 times the x and the 3 times the minus 2. That's going to give me a 3x, a minus 6 equals 18. And now I'm back to a two-step equation. I'm going to add the 6 to both sides. Keep in mind that golden rule. Got to do under one side as the other. 3x is 24. X is being multiplied. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is a 1. I've got a 1x, or just a plain x. And 24 divided by 3 is 8. So not much new. Just go ahead and clear out those parentheses before you do anything else. Number 2. 3 is distributed times the 5n and 3 times the 10. That's going to give me 15n plus 30 equals 53. Well, I need to subtract a 30 from both sides. And that's going to give me 15n. Now that adds to 0. And that's going to give me a 23. And now since I have n as a variable being multiplied, I'm going to divide both sides by 15. So as you can see, this is not that much different yet from lesson 12. Just clearing out those parentheses. So 23 over 15 is that example. Now, number 3, it's a little tricky that you have a minus sign here, but that's an implied minus 1. So I've got 5 minus 1x. Now, remember, I'm distributing a negative 1 times an x, and a negative times a negative 6 is going to be a plus 6 equals 19. Now, this is the first case where we have like terms on the same side. I have a 5 and a 6, and those are both numbers. I'll combine those. 11 minus 1x equals 19. Or you could have put negative 1x plus 11 equals 19. And you don't have to write that negative 1 in front of that x. You can just put negative x. But my experience is if you write that negative 1, at least, when you're learning to do this, it's a lot easier in the end to solve it. So I'm going to take my 11, take that first version that I got. So this is or either one of these. 11 minus 1x equals 19. I first want to move the 11. So I'll take 11 from both sides. And I get a minus 1x equals 8. And now remember, I want to get a positive 1x. So I'm going to, since it's being multiplied by negative 1, divide both sides by negative 1. X is negative 8. Example 4. I'm going to clear out my parentheses first. Now, it's very tempting to put a 10 there, but that would be wrong. Okay? You've got to do parentheses as the very first thing you ever do. 6 plus 4 times y minus 36 equals 23. I multiplied the 4 times the y and the 4 times the minus 9. Now, I do have like terms, 6 and minus 36. I can put it in the front of the 4y or behind it. I'll just put it behind it. 4y minus 30, because look, that's a plus 6, equals 23. Add 30, 4y equals 53. Divide by 4, y is 53 over 4. And I just now realized I need to be paying attention to these instructions. Integer, that's like -4, -2, 1, 2, positive or negative whole numbers. Proper fraction, numerator less than denominator. Well, that's not a 53 over 4 is not a proper fraction. Mixed number. So we do 4 goes into 53. 1 times 4 is 4. 13 left. 4 goes into 13 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 left over. 13 and 1/4. And of course you could do the calculations on your calculator. Now let me go up and see if I have another one like that. Yeah, here's another one. Number 2, 23 over 15. I go 15 into 23 is 1 times 15 is 15. I subtract, I get 8. 15 won't go into 8. 1 and 8 15s. That's our mixed number. And that's what my math lab is going to want. It'll probably tell you it's equivalent to the correct answer, but not in the correct format. So pay attention to those instructions. Number 5. 13 equals 9 minus 4, 4x minus 5. Now again, it's tempting to do 9 minus 4, but we've got to clear parentheses first. That's going to be 9 minus 16x plus 20. Be careful, you have a minus, and that makes that plus. Now, I've got like terms. I've got a 9 and a 20. So 13 equals negative 16x plus 29. I'm trying to isolate my x, so I'm going to subtract 29 from both sides. I get a negative 16 equals negative 16x. Since that's multiplication, I'm going to divide by negative 16. And I'll get 1 equals x. So x is 1. Example 6. 15x. Now, remember, there's a minus 1 implied here. So that's going to be minus 6x plus 3. Look, a negative 1 and a negative 3. Negative times a negative is a positive. So that's going to be just a plus 3 equals 84. I've got like terms. Don't start to move things until you combine your like terms. So that's going to be 15 minus 6, 9x plus 3 is 84. Now I can subtract 3 from both sides. 9x equals 81. Divide by 9. X equals 9. Now remember, you can always substitute these values back in the original to check. Number 7, one more that's got some parentheses here. I've got a 9x minus a 10x because I'm distributing that minus 2. I've got a plus 16 from the negative 2 times the negative 8 equals 29. I have like terms. Negative 1x plus 16 equals 29. I'm going to take a 16 from both sides. That's going to give me negative 1x equals 13. Divide by negative 1. X is negative 13. Now, number 8 is the first one where we have a variable on both sides. So I've got 2 times parentheses 4t minus 7 equals 15t plus 8. So I do as we've been doing is I'm going to clear out these parentheses. So 8t minus 14 equals 15t plus 8. Now, you get to decide which side you put your variable on. If you'd like it to always be on the left, that's fine. I sometimes will move it to the right and sometimes to the left. I think I want to subtract an 8t from both sides. When I do that, I get minus 14 equals 15 minus 8, 7t plus 8. Now I need to get that variable t by itself. The first thing I need to do is subtract an 8. And I get a minus 22 equals 7t. Since that's multiplication, I need to divide. Negative 22 over 7 is my t value. But that's not a proper fraction. It's not an integer. I need to change it to a mixed number. So to do it on your calculator, you just type in negative 22 and the fraction key 7. And it will give you, well, first of all, I know it's going to be a negative because a positive into a negative is a negative. 3 times 7 is 21. That's a 1. 7 won't go into there, so it's negative 3 1/7. Number 9, we got parentheses on both sides and variables on both sides. So I'm going to distribute this minus 1 here. And I get 3 minus 6x plus 25. That's the one that a lot of folks miss. Watch that negative and negative makes a positive there. Equals 7x minus 21. You got to remember to do it times both of them. On the left-hand side, I have a 3 and a 25. That's going to be a 28. On the right-hand side, I have a 7x minus 21. Now, like I said, you can go to either side. So I'll subtract the 7x this time. It doesn't matter. I could add 6x. It doesn't matter. I get a negative 13x plus 28 equals negative 21. I've got to do the opposite of a plus 28. That's a minus 28. Negative 13x equals negative 49. You got to divide by that coefficient, negative 13. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 49 over 13. And again, they don't want that improper fraction. They want us to take 13 into 49. Let's see, I believe that's only going to go, let's see, it'll go 4 times. Nope, it won't go 4 times, sorry. It'll go 3 times. 3 times 13 is 39. That's 10 left over, so 10 13ths. So 3 and 10 13ths. So you're still following the golden rule. You're doing the same thing on both sides. But before you do that, you're clearing your parentheses and you're combining like terms on each side. And the last one, number 10. Be careful here. You have to distribute first. It's very tempting to try to add the 8 and 3, but this 3 has to go times that 7 and then times that negative 6 first. So 8 plus 21 minus 18x equals 15 minus 16x. So that's 29 minus 18x equals 15 minus 16x. And it's up to you which side. I'll just add 16x to both sides. Whatever I do to one side, though, I have to do to the other. So I'm collecting my variables on the left side. 29 minus a 2x. And since that's a 0, all that's left here is a 15. I'll subtract a 29 now. I'm trying to get that x by itself. And I get a minus 2x is a negative 14. Now I've got multiplication, so I divide both sides by negative 2. And this time it goes in there a nice whole number times. So the final answer is x equals 7.